Okay, so definitely starting with content, because making sure that your site's clear, dusting up some of those other things. Is there anything that people would do once the website's built? So it sounds like a lot of, we're talking about in progress of the website as you're going through it.
Sure.
Let's say, and ideally in a perfect state, it seems like you would start with SEO from the beginning. But what if I built my website and now I want to think about SEO? Where does someone at that stage kind of go? Where do they turn to?
Yeah, so that's where you are the most valuable part of your day is spent taking a step back and putting yourself in your customer's shoes. Okay, so again, basic business principle, but applied to SEO is, is my site organized in a way that people can easily get through and find what it is that they're looking for, assuming that they find me in the first place. Now, are people able to get through my site and get to where they need to be as fast as possible?
Yeah.
User experience is really what it's all about now. I for a little while was jokingly saying that, like, hey, SEO really isn't about search engine optimization, it's search experience optimization. It's what kind of experience are you giving that person? Because at the end of the day, like how Google functions, they go out and read your website and experience your website just like you and I do. So if Google's crawler lands on your website to start reading it and determining, okay, where are we going to put this website? If they see it's like, okay, the crawler gets there and it's taking a full 10 seconds for the page to load.
Not good.
Google.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So other than you kind of taking a step back, experiencing it, thinking through it, are there any kind of helpful tools or free tools that people can maybe leverage? Or is that something where you would start coming in?
No, there's a lot of, and again, it depends on what you want to spend your time really in, where you want to start investing your time. The easy one for me to recommend is a tool called answerthepublic.com.
Okay.
What that basically does is it gives you all the questions about a specific topic that people are asking in various places across the web. So one of the elements that Google likes is freshness. They want to see that, is this website even still active? Are they still
right?
Like if somebody lands here, are they going to, go down to a dead end? So Google seeing that, okay, every now and then a new page of content is added, using your blog. That's a good way of just keeping that fresh signal around with Google. So a great thing to do is just answer questions related to your space. So, if say that there's a question being asked around what's the best type of blue widget, answer that as a blog post.
Right. Yeah. It's relevant. It's on topic. It's recent. Gotcha. Yep. Improves the customer experience.
And because of using Answer the Public, people are asking it. It's not just it's not just a guess.
Yeah. Well, this was really informative. We're gonna get into our last question here, but any other things you feel like we maybe didn't talk about that's important with SEO, or anything you would kind of leave people with, and anyone that's maybe thinking about a website or thinking about SEO, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll like I said, I'll beat it till I'll beat the horse till we got glue. And I'm sorry to use such a crude, nasty analogy.
Yeah, it's not something that.
But really put yourself in your customer's shoes and give Google what Google wants. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
To digress for a second, PETA came out with a whole bunch of new slogans that you could use.
Oh.
Instead of beating a dead horse, it's pet a sleeping dog, or instead of skinning the cat, it's I forget, but there's a lot of sayings like that. So
gotcha.
PETA's got your back if you're looking for a different saying.
Okay. Yeah, good to know.
Yeah, this is really informative. I think you hit the nail on the head early on. You could build something and it could be great, but if people aren't going to find it, it's not going to get used. And SEO to me just seems like such a vital part in the process. I think anyone that's going through a website build, anyone that's thinking about a website build, anyone that wants an online presence should absolutely reach out to you, and should at least get a lay of the land of SEO, wherever they're at in the process, to kind of just see what they could be doing to make their site even better.
Yeah. And if I can just plug one thing, really pay attention to your SEO, especially if you're going through a rebuild.
Yeah.
So if you're getting to rebuild your website and relaunch your website, if your URL structure is changing, Google's going to view those old ones unless you put a 301 redirect in place. They're going to view all of those as 404 errors. So again, thinking about the fact that Google wants to deliver a great user experience, if they see that, if they try to get to your website and it's a bunch of broken pages, you're
out.
You're going to wipe you out. So just thinking through those kind of back end things.
Okay. All right. Closing question. Let's have a little fun. What is your favorite piece of technology?
My favorite piece of technology.
Don't say Google.
That's a good one. I you know what? Maybe as a concept. So I'm going to take the cheap way out of this. My favorite technology is anything that democratizes things for people.
Interesting.
I had a conversation with someone yesterday about how it's like, man, when I was into building websites, to build an e-commerce store, 10, 15 years ago, you basically had to have a degree in engineering to get it done.
Yeah.
Now you can open up a store on Shopify and sell product the very same afternoon.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of like the fact that you can go out and buy basically a studio quality microphone. You can buy, anything that gives you the utilities of stuff that people used to think was out of reach. That's where I think the best technology really comes from, is the fact that anything you want is within reach now.
You know what? I actually, that's my favorite reply to date. And I'm not kidding. That is a really, really good answer. Because you're right, it kind of levels the play. I've never thought about that, but it gives everyone an equal opportunity. And that's amazing.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, Shawn Swaim, the SEO geek, if you have any SEO questions, comments, obviously with that geek moniker, you're willing to tackle any conversation pieces. So
absolutely. I love this stuff.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.